Hello ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing with our coverage of IG's Onslaught. First game was very easy. I'm suspecting this one to be very easy too. DMO didn't show that much resistance. IG showed a lot of team play, which is so huge. So huge, because IG's biggest issue at the World Championship was the complete lack of team play. Everything was individual, and the individuality is still there. I think Puff and Southwind had a very solid series against FPX. Didn't need to do much, honestly, against DMO because they were just farming down in the bot lane. This is the first red side game we see from IG, and you can see they are banning Qiyana. Qiyana, Aphelios, Pantheon. I think Pantheon is something they've banned over and over. We saw Shia there on the screen, very recognizable from his time at World Elite when he solo killed Faker with the Lucian. Lucian was banned from blue side, so continuing on that trend that IG started there. Elise banned on blue side as well, and Orianna removing that from rookie. IG now following up with picking Misfortune. They didn't care about the Braum. They went for the Rakan, locked it in against Varus and Shia. Baolan is not in the mix, so this is, I wonder if Southwind is going to use IG Rakan. It might be considered disrespectful. Rise banned, one of the good champions to pick into Rumble mid, and Irelia. Irelia is also fine into Rumble. So Rumble is the flex. Rumble has an okay matchup into Akali, but I think it's something that Akali can definitely deal with. So it seems like always on blue side you get away with one very powerful pick, and I think it's also easy to secure a lot of good matchups on blue side because there's so many flex picks. So I think the counters are not that heavy-handed, and blue side definitely seems to be more powerful right now because you have a choice of one OP always. Rumble and Jace together with flex makes a lot of sense, but why would you last pick jungle? I think you can just look in jungle. I doubt that the enemy is going to pick Jace right here. Rek'Sai, probably my most favorite jungle in the mix. We can talk about the Varus-Leona matchup. I think Varus-Leona versus MF and Rakan should definitely be winning for Varus-Leona. But I think, Puff and Southwind, they've played some bad matchup the past days and have gotten away with a lot. I think what it comes down to is what does IG provide us with in terms of mid lane and how the situation looks in mid lane. Because this time around, they will be able to last pick something to ensure that they have a good matchup. But ideally here, DMO is going to look in something that they can double flex. So I think DMO's idea here is that they're going to match Echo with Rumble at all costs, or not. Okay, LeBlanc top is not a thing, so Akali's blind top. Rumble can probably match, and then let's see what rookie picks into LeBlanc. So Ryze is banned here. Galio is not that good. LeBlanc, maybe a Syndra. I would imagine that we're going to have a Syndra pick here, maybe with Cleanse to be good into the Leona. Rumble mid into LeBlanc doesn't sound too fancy. LeBlanc Lee Sin is a very good 2v2 mid, and I think this was the biggest issue of the last game. Okay, so Cannon lock in, Rumble mid lane. I don't know how good it is into this. Here, DMO have an opportunity to solve the issue of the previous game, and the previous game issue was the fact that their 2v2 mid was in shambles. So this time around, if IG's 2v2 mid is quite strong, maybe they can look to one-shot Lee Sin in a counter gank. Maybe that's the way in. We'll have to pay attention to how the 2v2 develops. But if DMO's mid lane here gets an advantage and they can spread that pressure onto Akali and onto that bot lane, then everything is going to be settled, because this was the biggest issue of the last game. In terms of scaling, the teams are very different in what they need to do and how they need to approach the game. Cannon definitely wins against Akali. Akali needs to survive and retain as many CS as possible. Very similar to the Irelia matchup. I think Irelia is a bit stronger in lane than Akali is, but Akali has the comfort of not completely falling off the map if she's behind. If Irelia is behind, she's kind of dog shit. Akali still has some good power spikes in her build in comparison to Irelia, in my opinion. So, level 1 action. We still need to continue talking about what's going on here in this game. IG in their team composition, they have a lot of AoE damage, similar to what DMO brought to the table last game with Rumble, Rakan, MF, and no Braum, so there's nothing to deny. But DMO's composition is very slippery, and of course the target will always be Varus. Varus is very easy to kill here. A DMO with Lee Sin, Akali, LeBlanc, I don't think they should be trapped in any massive combinations. But it all comes down to how the early game plays out. Because I think here, if the Shy doesn't have that much room to pressure, the big difference here is the Shy is playing Cannon now into Akali, then there's no Jarvan on the enemy side, so he's going to pressure from level 1. Rek'Sai is a stronger early game jungler than Lee Sin. DMO is trying to divide the map here. Big thing here is Lee starting blue. I think this is going to be quite terrible for Akali. I think Akali is going to get dove. I think it's going to be tricky to dive the MF and the Rakan, and also here Varus and Leona. Sure, maybe they can slow push away, but I don't think. I think Akali is going to be in bigger danger than Rakan and Misfortune ever going to be. Level 2 gank is not something they're afraid of, so Rakan and Misfortune here, they're walking up. They know if Lee Sin level 2 ganks here, he's going to lose too much tempo, and Rakan, it's not worth it for him to burn a summoner or two in order to set up this gank. So the Shy already harassing a lot. Doran Shield is going to be the MVP of this top lane matchup for DMO Natural. And here, like Natural is already fucked because Lee Sin is pathing into bot. Rek'Sai is going to step into the enemy jungle here on blue. And then everything is going to continue. But we'll have to see what move Lian is going to make next. Is he going to go into the enemy jungle, which he should 100% because Cannon has full prio. And then look to pressure onto this Akali. Akali already used a potion. Already in a very, very dangerous spot. As you can see, Puff and Southwind are very, very safe here. Lian, you can see Lee Sin is going to hover into bottom, and then they're going to look for a dive here with Varus Leona. Oh, Shea, I think this is a bit optimistic. LeBlanc still had W, didn't need to burn flash. I think Lian needed to focus on top side. Lee Sin is not going into bottom side because they gave up on the idea of diving bottom. This is why it made no sense to divide the map into top side because Akali is in so much danger. But I think Lian and the Shy with their champion choice could have definitely forced the situation. But I think maybe Lee Sin could get away with doing some red into blue action and then securing all the top side camps. So Lian is not encouraged to stay into top side. But this gank into mid lane secured the top lane, basically secured the mid lane prio. Rookie got to push. LeBlanc needed to go back, and now Natural is in trouble. He's losing a big wave. Even if he doesn't die here, it's almost as if he's dying because it's 15 creeps that are dying into the turret, and Lee Sin is accomplishing nothing during this time. Once again, he's looking on bottom side, looking if he can find a gank or a dive, but Misfortune and Rakan, they are very, very healthy. And I like here how Puff and Southwind are kind of playing the role of what Baolan and Jackie used to do, making sure it's as hard as possible to fuck them. Because no matter what you think about League, when the map is divided, it's a competition of who fucks who the most. Forgive my harsh words. And Lee Sin is not finding any dives. IG's bot lane are being very, very healthy. They're freezing the wave in front of the turret, making sure Leona cannot dive. I think Varus and Leona definitely managed the wave very, very poorly. But I think just the jungler Lee Sin level 2 ganking with blue, it makes it very easy for IG to walk up. Very nice W here on Varus, making sure Puff can save his cleanse, of course, but that's the first big trade we saw on the bot side. And Puff has a lot of biscuits and a health potion to recover with. Akali TP'd into top. The Shy saved his TP, same maneuver as last game. That's why we don't see this massive CS gap. Because of course when you save TP and you walk back to lane with no boots, you're going to also lose some creeps. Let's see if this saving of course, the TP is going to be worth it this game. Cannon is going to look to freeze the wave in front of the tower as hard as possible. Akali looks to push in, and I think if the Shy can keep the wave in this position is very, very good as well. But I think the wave is too big for it to behave that way. Natural was able to stack a wave, of course, because of the Shy basing and not TPing back. The wave crashes, and let's see now the Shy. In range matchups, you want to slow push as hard as possible and make a big wave crash into the turret. And then during this wave, you want to harass as much as possible. So we're going to pay attention to Lian's movement here if he's going to be able to find a window of pressure, if he can be around topside the moment the Shy wants to crash the wave. So the Shy is popping potions. Akali is just recalling, giving up. Let's see if the Shy, it will be curious to see how fast the Shy makes the decision of pushing fast. Because here as well, a move from Akali could be to hide in fog, right? And then if he pushes fast, okay. So the Shy just straight up ults. He just makes the guess that natural based. Okay. Okay. Natural buying Mercury's was gonna save him a creep. Running into lane faster. Alright, alright. Southwind and Puff hovering into mid sides. But finding a gank onto LeBlanc is going to be very difficult. But I think it's more about keeping Rookie safe from the LeBlanc and the Lee Sin. Because that 2v2 is very dangerous. And Rumble staying healthy is key here. I think the idea of how you play this 2v2 for IG is the moment Lee Sin ganks, the moment he connects with Q, presses again, make him regret it. And the vision control for IG is definitely in their favor. Small CS lead for bottom for DMO, but this wave is going to crash and IG are going to recover. So it's not really a lead, it's just temporarily. IG controlling bot side river. Main thing here is that DMO need to find timings to gank Rumble when Rek'Sai is not around. That is the way in for them in this game. LeBlanc is a 1v2 champion, meaning that she can always set up ganks. WE is very easy to land, very easy to set up, but it requires a lot of commitment, of course, from that's a silly Varus ult. It's an attempt. It's very, very desperate to try to find the Rakan, but I think definitely they can one-shot Rakan. Like legit, if Leona flash Q and Varus ult, then it's definitely a one-shot onto the Rakan. Hello, Muffin. They can easily one-shot Rakan. You can see here, the moment Rookie starts pushing, Lian is around. Always Lian is around. This is giving me Ning 2018 vibes. Keeping Rookie safe. Lian is just making sure that IG can play their matchups, because naturally IG are getting advantage.
You wanna come cuddle?
Rookie forced to TP here. She starting to recognize that he can't really get ganked, and maybe he can start to pressure using some ult rotations onto Rumble. Rumble's gonna base now. He has barrier. I don't know about this choice of barrier for Rookie. I don't like it too much. But I think in a 2v2 situation, at least Lee Sin with Kick and LeBlanc combo, they will not be able to one-shot him. I think this is the idea. If Rumble survives the initial burst, then 2v2 is going to be in their favor. I think Rookie always thinks in the scope of 2v2 or 1v1 very heavily in one direction. I think at the World Championship it was all about what he can do alone, because Ning was, like both junglers weren't really helping him out. The jungle proximity of Rookie and the Shy was quite pathetic from what both of their junglers were doing at the World Championship. But this time around we can see a clear synergy here between Rookie and Lian, because first game that was complete dominance. Here there is a bit of a struggle. I think Rumble mid maybe is a tad bit overrated. I think for me it definitely made sense to go cleanse Syndra here, sending Rumble into mid into Akali. But the cannon is also paying off. 2 platings now, and he's definitely super far ahead. Natural has TP back up. The Shy didn't use TP a single time. I think the Shy is going to be safe here. Doesn't need to burn flash, doesn't need to burn anything. Map is divided right now. There's no rift. IG already secured the rift, so they're completely fine with this. Maybe the Shy can look to ult the wave and suicide for it. I think that's completely fine. I would call that worth to make sure that his team has bigger tempo here. But there is no threat of dive at all for DMO. So this is terrible. This is the worst thing possible that you can ever imagine. IG are already hovering with Rookie into mid, but Shia needs to match. He needs to ignore mid wave. If Rookie is ignoring mid wave, then LeBlanc needs to match, because the fact that the Shy is able to catch this wave and Natural is being so pressured here into the bottom side is a big problem. So here you can see that Shia is showing on mid wave. He's being very greedy. Showing on mid wave, Rookie is going to top side to try to prevent the dive that should happen. but Xie should just match. Xie should just match, and they should be able to go so hard in the paint that they are burning even Akali TP in case Rookie is defending. So ideally, we're going to have a 5 versus 2 situation, maybe 3. We can turn that 2 into a 3, and this dive should be definitely playable. But instead, we have a situation where DMO are making the mistake. They are backing off. Rookie, good movement here, because Xie, like the biggest issue here is still Xie is just showing on the mid wave. That is, X marks the spot. That is the issue. Xie is showing here. 3-man, they can dive. 3v2 is very difficult. Usually the principle of diving is that you count the turret as another person, and you need to basically, if the enemy is defending with 2, you need to have 4 to guarantee a dive. Sometimes, of course, you can dive with 3 if you have good champions, and there are a lot of variables that change it. But in this position, I think they should definitely hover with LeBlanc, follow Rookie. Don't make it a big deal if you don't push the mid wave, because it is the same for the enemy. The wave is even. And then if enemy protects even with Rek'Sai, because we don't know Rek'Sai position, right? Rek'Sai position is still a question mark. If they're defending with Rek'Sai, you just burn Akali TP and you go all the way, meaning you commit with 5 for the dive, and then you go for it, right? Because this is the worst case scenario. The other side of the coin is, if you don't want to dive, if you're looking in a position where you don't want to dive, then obviously you shouldn't have swapped in the first place, and you needed to be in a position where you matched. Because that could be a part of this thought process too, right? Maybe IG are in the thought process like, it's very difficult for enemy to ban dive cannon. We have the cannon ultimate to clear the wave. We can go, it's easy. Then definitely, this could have been an intended choice from IG to force this. But I think still cannon is diveable. There is Varos ultimate, there's Leona ultimate, Lee Sin kick. A lot of tools here to just walk up to cannon and pressure him off the turret instead of doing this. But let's see now what DMO Natural does. Does he stay under the turret? Does he risk? Because he doesn't see anything of this, right? He doesn't know where Rek'Sai's position is. So we'll just have to wait and see what he does. Because still, Akali has W, maybe can outplay, maybe can do something on the turret. Let's see how scared he's going to be. Let's play it. So from a draft standpoint, I think hitting mid-game here, still, before LeBlanc reaches Luna's Echo, before Akali reaches Gunblade, they are not that strong. Lian shows up, Natural backs off, and now Xie is hovering into top. But the big difference maker here is Cannon managed to get a full wave, Natural lost that big wave. That is something, right? Afterwards, when Xie was in fog, we could see it progressing. Xie was in fog, then Cannon stepped back, Rumble showed on mid to catch the wave, and still, it might seem small, but Cannon got additional wave, and this is going to matter in the Cannon versus Akali matchup. It's all about the small nuances, because this is the highest level of play, right? We're going to look at the small things, the difference makers, how the teams are impacting and their control of waves. IG are continuing to push because they have a massive tempo advantage here because of the Rift Herald. They're continuing. Xie might look for a solo kill here. He doesn't have Ignite. Rumble has, of course, his barrier. Xie no flash. Okay. Well, this Rumble matchup is not good. Maybe Rumble mid is just a myth. I feel like it just poses issues here for IG more than anything, because Lian needed to commit a lot of resources in order for Rookie to push, and it didn't really bear any fruit besides having control over river, making IG's bot lane push. I hope we get a replay of this, because this is also cool. The Shy just going for the all-in on the turret, getting a wave and getting 1-for-1. That's huge. And IG pushed all the way. I hope they don't take an inhib, because it's not the time to do so. IG is walking away. Beautiful. And they clear another wave. So this could be a massive freeze for Natural. He can just freeze until his TP is needed. That's the word I was looking for. Needed. It's definitely a good time to freeze. Nothing to force for. Drake spawns in 2 minutes. Even if you give up this ocean, IG is very far away from, this ocean means nothing. This ocean means nothing, and IG's composition is not that good at sieging. So this could be a time for you to look to freeze. IG's move here should be to break top tower. Here the Shy goes in, he ults, the wave disappears. Lee Sin is very low HP. Very, very well done here from the Shy, getting that 1-for-1, and potentially Leona could survive. Like, she still has flash, she's tanking the turret, like you can definitely survive this, and there's just the way they played it is just quite disgusting, like the Leona ult. Like here the Shy should not get away with even 1-for-1. It's very, very poorly played. Leona ult doesn't land off the back of the Lee Sin kick. You know exactly where he's going to land. Some mechanical mistakes there, plain and simple. Rumble on side lane is going to struggle. I think he's just going to look to create a slow push, rotate into mid, and then ult onto the Svaros, and then just push him off the turret, and then IG is slowly going to chip away on the midway turret. Rookie now taking Wolves for no apparent reason. Not too big of a fan of this Rumble pick. I don't think it does too much. I think if your reaction is to pick Rumble into Akali, it should be to have the Rumble go into Akali. You can also, if your intention is to send Cannon into Akali, maybe you should just pick Cannon right away and try to match Akali all over the place. Because I think Rumble does very little for this composition, and I think he was just a liability. Okay, dive number 2. Dive number 2. So it's weird here that IG decided to send their bot lane into mid lane already. I don't feel like mid game is that completely breached yet. I think if they played through top side now, then it would have been better. At this point in time, there are no TPs in the game, so I think if IG, instead of contesting this side of the map, as we can see here, as they're doing, they should be contesting top side. Top wave was already in a position where, bottom wave was already in a position where it was very far away when everything started. So if they, instead of whatever they chose to do here, they could have also just ignored bottom and then look to pressure into top side, because I think this is a macro mistake. There is no TP, you saw the Shy has no TP, so he cannot match DMO. DMO can just go bottom with Akali or LeBlanc. And then the idea should be that you push together mid lane with 4, and then you control this space, and then you make sure that Cannon is able to hit this turret, and then you break this tower together. But now instead, IG are kind of losing full control of the map for a red buff, which is completely not worth it. So if we take a step back, the moment we would have this happen is, of course... Why is there a mouse pointer there? What the fuck? Do you guys see this mouse pointer? What is that? That's not mine. That's not my mouse pointer. I'm sorry for also not moving the camera, guys. I'm very sorry. I keep forgetting. So the moment we were looking for... So right here, we want to pick up the blue, push mid, pressure into top side, ignore bottom. Commit all the way into top. And then after you push the top wave, and then you can hover into bottom, clear that wave, and then repeat. Make a slow push. Just this way, we are basically trading top tower for a red buff, and it's not that great. And it's one of the issues that we didn't highlight in draft is, when it comes to the split push, LeBlanc does very, very well into Cannon. Let's see how this fight goes. Let's see if the punish is good. Seems like DMO are walking away, but they get to burn a TP for it. So maybe IG is a bit happy about this. She is behind now. He didn't TP, he just walked from mid lane. Oh. This is IG fighting 4v5. The Shy has had nothing to do with this. But Natural burnt his TP. But of course DMO, she has also TP, and he's going to base and most likely finish his Luden's Echo now. And that's going to be a big deal. LeBlanc should win split against Rookie and against the Shy on Cannon on Rumble. LeBlanc is going to win. It's a big deal here. IG still 2k gold ahead from their maneuver earlier when they took that many turrets. Good engage here from Southwind, but the follow-up is not there. MF is not in position, and the misfortune ult is kind of underwhelming because he cancelled it quite early. And then Lian with the 1-for-1. Lian ends up on the wrong side of Varus and also dies. Key thing here, naturally use TP, but it won't matter because LeBlanc is going to be the one splitting, because IG have this issue where still for another 3 minutes they have no TP. They need to play 4-1 and they're going to be bleeding CS if DMO played correctly, because DMO can play on 3 sides of the map and IG need to focus on 2, because right now DMO are relatively strong. Their bottom side is strong, play the Ruin King on Varus. MF is a bit stronger because items are just better on her side. LeBlanc didn't push all the way. I think that's a mistake. I think LeBlanc should have pushed all the way here, because right now she's just losing CS for no reason. Cannon is doing golems, I think, and I think that's a mistake too. He needs to create a slow push and then hover into mid, so Rookie can go and take this bottom side. So I think LeBlanc definitely should have pushed one more, and then off of the back of that, Cannon should have been pushing here at the same time, because LeBlanc would be showing and 2 people are showing. He has enough vision to make sure that he's safe. Clear this wave, make a slow push, hover into mid, let Rookie catch this one, make it slow push again, and then Rookie hovers into mid, and Cannon can go back into top. That's how you play a standard 4-1, right? Let's see how this progresses. Let's continue. There's no clear path for victory for IG. They need to find big team fights, but if DMO are very patient here, they can put themselves in a situation where they farm better than IG because of their strength and split. IG will be eventually forced to dive mid lane if they recognize that this is not working. They're in a position where they're just bleeding CS, enemies farming better, and eventually they're going to catch up. A Rift Herald is also a good way of breaking this mid tower and could be the saving grace here for IG. Cannon still no TP. Kali showing on bottom. So sorry for the camera being on my map all the time. I keep forgetting. So this double Rift Herald is probably the best thing that IG could hope for. LeBlanc now with Luden's Echo can look to poke as much as possible. IG are very weak against poke, but Rakan has the ability to just R the moment LeBlanc walks up and then just roots her. I mean, charm her and then W her and kill her. LeBlanc definitely has a bad interaction with Rakan. Rakan just presses R the moment LeBlanc W's and then, go back. And LeBlanc's poke is not that lethal unless she can, of course, W onto enemies. She is looking down to go into bottom, but IG already started, and this is way too late. And this is a problem of lane assignment for DMO. And giving up this Rift Herald is tricky, because I think the moment IG break mid tower with this Rift, then this whole game is going to be so much easier for IG. Because with that mid prio, and they can push all the way, they can solve the issue that they've been having on side now with she being stronger. So Rift Herald is going to be straight up used on mid, no issue here. And then IG are going to break this mid tower, and all of a sudden they have a way of playing the game. I think the mistake here was that they sent Akali into bottom. Rift Herald was clearly the next objective. Akali was bottom and LeBlanc was on top side or even mid. And if LeBlanc was on bottom this entire duration and he kept pressuring, then it would have been better. Let's take a step back and take a look at this fight. Xiaopeng with a very good position. So even here, I was speaking as if the mid tower is down, but honestly it survived. And the issue still stands for IG that they don't have good ways of sieging the turret. Leon gets caught here. Varus ultimate, Leona combo. Oh, excuse me. Wow. Wow. Southwind got debated. LeBlanc TP'd. Cannon is very strong. Was not a part of this. There was no reason for TP. Cannon is in position. IG all have ultimates up. She is very low mana. 2 items on Varus ready. Varus no ultimate. IG kept everything during all of this. Xiaopeng looking for a steal on the Cloud Drake. Not worth it. Could that be a big throw? Because Nash is alive. If IG can look to force Nasher, that's going to be quite huge as well. And will also once again solve some of the issues of IG's composition. IG's composition just wants to teamfight on objectives over and over. During the time where there's no objectives, they will struggle. Even now, these kills will let them slow push the waves out, let them group. IG just needs to look for opportunities where they can group over and over. The fact that Cannon is so monster fed also definitely helps, because maybe Cannon has a living chance against LeBlanc and Split. And also LeBlanc doesn't have TP. Akali is the one that has to match Cannon now. So I'm talking about how hard it is for IG to execute the combo, but at this point in time it's honestly quite good. They are the ones winning Split. Cannon will beat Akali in Split. No problem. Send the Cannon into bottom, and Cannon will win Akali right now. Teamfight again. Xiaopeng look for steal. Not worth it. It's Ocean. Come on. It's Ocean. Let it go. Then another kill. No Nash attempt. Cannon. Still farming topside. Taking it easy. No good CP ward for a flank. Southwind running it down. Okay. Mark missed his Leon ult. Mid tower still stands. Well, it doesn't stand any longer actually. When did it fall? I completely missed it. What happened? Oh, did you get mid tower? Cleanly. Okay. No LeBlanc TP. Cannon versus Akali. Cannon should win, we talked about. Now with no mid tower, Rumble actually has a lot of impact in mid. Southwind now. The best Rakan players, what you will see is when Nashor is up, they're going to use this space. Going to use this space because most teams are going to use their wards in this area, right? The Nash area. Very, very natural that they do so. So if Rakan finds a good flank here from this space, puts good wards down for Cannon to TP on, then they can cut whoever contests the mid lane in half. That's why the mid tower being down is such a big deal, because it changes the whole nature of what IG can do with their composition. A 5v5 composition like this, like these 5 champions that we see here, can do so much more when the mid tower is down, because the mid wave crashes here, and all of a sudden you have so much more space to teamfight on, all of this space here that I'm highlighting on the minimap. So here Southwind uses this space to find a good flank, puts good wards, flanks together with Cannon. Maybe they can just kill Varus Leona straight up with a good team fight, because Rumble doesn't want to be on the side. Against LeBlanc, he's going to struggle. Sure, he can maybe trade back a little bit, find something. I think the best way for DMO to play is to look to pressure through top, if we look at it from their direction. Look to play through top, make the wave push here. Varus needs to back up, he needs to be constantly scared. I'm going to remove some of this crap. Let's just remove all of it. Varus needs to be constantly scared. I think that the future of what's going to happen here in mid lane is that they're going to get engaged on. And I think the way in for DMO is to look to play through side. So very different compositions here. LeBlanc and Lee Sin, I think they'll have a very easy time of trapping Rumble and killing him by contesting this space and making sure that he doesn't get to slow push. And then Rumble will be forced to group, and IG will play through mid lane, and DMO will have to play through top side. But let's see what this develops into, because we can see Rumble now approaching mid lane. Okay. IG is not in a good position to force Nashor, so let's see if the Shy can get out of this. It seems like IG are just chasing onto bottom side. They're hovering into the Drake space, so DMO find a very, very good clean catch here. IG are not in position to pressure the Nashor area, and Drake is spawning now in 20. Cannon has TP when it spawns. Puff has been farming like an absolute monster, clearing raptors and wolves and starving Lian. That's the way of pro jungle. Like, Lian is full build. Black Cleaver and AD jungle item. That's as far as you get as junglers nowadays in competitive. So he's full build. You can see here, even in a position where the Shy died, DMO are not in a good position to force this too easily. MF is so freaking strong right now if you compare him to the items that he has. Oh, okay. The ult gets cancelled right away, but Mark dies for it. Not so worth. Lian has his R to jump on Xiao Peng, but he wouldn't kill, so IG just transfer this onto the freaking Nashor pit area. So let's rewind this. How did we get here? The Shy died to a gank on bottom. They used Akali ult, they used Lee Sin ult, they used LeBlanc ult, but that's whatever, right? So right now the Shy is dead. These ults are very, very key, right? Very key. If we compare AD carry items right now, Misfortune is looking much stronger than Varus because he itemized QSS for some reason. Not sure why. I don't think it's necessary. In terms of the fight that comes up now, DMO have a very hard time of face checking this space. No one's really tanky enough. Akali is also showing on the bot side, but Akali with no ult is kind of like dead, and the Shy spawns in 4. There is no big wards besides this one behind DMO for the team fight. But the issue here for DMO is that they can't face check this space because Rumble is just gonna kill everyone. So the issue here is that IG managed to get mid-wave prio. Can we imagine a situation where DMO get mid-wave prio on this one, or did they have to give up because they were on bottom and killed? So here Lee Sin and Akali and all are walking into this space. Maybe DMO's opportunity to secure this Drake area was to walk into it right now. Because right now IG is in position where they're clearing mid-wave, and the odds of them walking all the way to pressure tier 2 is very unlikely. So if DMO took the choice right now to give up the mid-wave and to step into Drake area and then to be in a better position for the upcoming fight, maybe that would be the way in. But would they be in a winning position, or is IG's composition just too strong in team fights right now? And the fact that DMO without LeBlanc TP could not pressure, and now with LeBlanc TP on, maybe they can look to kill Cannon over and over and then pressure into bot and put IG on a clock where they need to force Nashor. Could be the case. But now the moment DMO don't take the space, lose the mid prio, and then walk away, There is no contesting this Drake any longer. Xiaopeng gets kicked out. Misfortune ult gets cancelled by Mark. And then he dies. And then this is an opportunity for IG to control National. Varus is all the way in bottom. They just started. No Rumble ult, no MF ult, no Rakan ult. So this is definitely DMO needs to contest this. If they give this up, the game is just over. 5k, the Shy. Ooh, dirty. And it's over. IG showing us the way. Wow. Is that the end of the game? There's another fight. Let's take a look how IG break the Nexus here on the bottom side. So they come in. The inhib is open from before. You remember level like a minute 11 when they break the inhib. That was crazy. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. MF is so strong, man. Wow. Okay. So how do we... I guess this game could use a little summary. This game could definitely use a little summary. If we take a look at the draft, you know, from the get-go, we go all the way back into the draft, given at the point in time where they ban. Okay. So let's start here. In terms of the draft, early game, Rek'Sai is going to have prior over Lee Sin, normal. What DMO want to accomplish is that together with LeBlanc and Lee Sin, put pressure on the Rumble. The Rumble was a bit of a question mark pick because usually when you see the Akali flex on the blue side, you want to pick something that you are comfortable in putting into Akali. And I thought the moment that enemy showed LeBlanc, Ryze being banned, maybe the option was to pick Syndra. But that didn't happen. They sent Rumble into mid lane, and Rumble is always going to be kind of a liability when it comes to the 2v2. Lian needs to spend a lot of time making sure that that Rumble is safe. LeBlanc and Lee Sin want to look for opportunities where they kill Rumble, meaning in a 1v2 scenario where Rek'Sai is not around, because if with the barrier choice of Rookie here, the big deal here is that he will not get one-shotted, and then when Lee Sin commits, he's going to get W knocked by Rek'Sai. Rumble has a lot of damage output still, and then this is how they turn a gank, so they need to look for 1v2 situations. Another way is LeBlanc can also look to chip away at Rumble's HP and look to trade slowly and then find an advantage like that. In this matchup as well, Cannon against Akali, Cannon is going to win early. Akali needs as much help as possible from her team to make sure that she doesn't fall too far behind, but the Shy had a monster performance on Cannon on the first game. It continued the same way, right? Misfortune and Rakan, they pick Rakan because they need some kind of tool to engage with. Nautilus was also a potential option, considering they third pick Rakan. They went for Rakan. I don't know if Southwind has some specific priority on Rakan, but maybe it's just the IG way. And of course, this matchup, I thought that Varus and Leona will be stronger in, because the moment Varus is 6, they can easily one-shot the Rakan. Very, very easily. But we jump into the game. The key moments of the game was early on, not too much action. Lian did a fantastic job of securing the mid wave, making sure in moments where Rookie wants to push to always be there ready and waiting. A mistake in my eyes that of course DMO did was that level 1 they decided to divide the map, and this is a lesson for all of you. If you divide the map into a side, you need to make sure that you can dive or that your top laner will not get dove. So already in this matchup, Cannon is going to be chipping away on Akali more and more. And the more freedom Cannon has to do so, the worse it is going to be for Akali. So if we're going to speed this early game off, here you can see the clear issue. Clear issue. Lee Sin started blue. Cannon is harassing Akali. He doesn't have to give a shit about the jungler. He's walking up past the wave. He's harassing away. This is what you want to do in a dream scenario as Cannon into Akali, right? Akali level 1 is not that strong into a ranged champion. And then here, you can see mid lane situation. Rookie is losing prio against Shia. He's trying to push back. And then Shia, of course, Lian secures the prio here by going and committing on LeBlanc. But LeBlanc has W up, so he walks away. But this secures the prio for Rookie. So this is a wonderful move. And Lee Sin, as we mentioned before, is wasting all of his time. He's wasting all of his time. You can highlight the fact that there is no possibility of them diving bottom. Rakan, Leona, Rakan MF with cleanse, they are managing the wave properly. Another issue is that Lee Sin level 2 gank is no pressure at all with blue. So IG could just manage the wave and actually contest the wave. So once again, another issue of why you can't really divide the map here. I think the correct choice for Lee would be to do some red into blue buff clear, into take some camps here and then go out. Because the issue here is that Rek'Sai is able to spend as much time in topside as possible because of the camps being there for him to take. So we continue to highlight this point. Rookie got the prio in mid lane because of the gank. She lost a lot of HP, and then Lee Sin is just wasting time. He was running back and forth like a buffoon. Natural is losing a lot of creeps, and in a scenario where Lee, let's say, did red into blue into Gromp, got level 3, went into mid lane, contested 2v2, and then controlled topside river, all of a sudden the nature of this occurrence would not change. So you see right away, natural TPs into topside, and the Shy gets to keep TP, not a big serious advantage. He could have gotten something bigger if, of course, he TP'd back. Afterwards, the big scenario was the big thing that happened. DMO secured a dragon. The Rift Herald was secured. IG's bot lane was first on the location, and they're giving up one wave. IG's bot lane are matching. They're going into topside. And then the next thing that happens is the thing of beauty. So something that we haven't seen teams do in a very long time is the move where they are taking Herald, okay? After taking Rift Herald, they go straight back into bottom. Because now they know they're in a position where if they mismatch, then they're going to have higher tempo. Much, much higher tempo. So here, you can see they are showing, they're exposing themselves, showing. Right now, Rookie has prio on the mid wave. He's rushing straight into top to make sure to defend this. We made a comment on this, of course, in the longer review. Rumble is defending Cannon, and the issue here is, as I highlighted before, the issue here is Shia is showing on the mid wave. The mid wave is even after LeBlanc cleared the first initial wave. He needs to hover into topside to make sure that when this wave crashes, Varus, Leona, and Lee Sin need to coordinate together with LeBlanc to make sure when the wave crashes in the tower that LeBlanc is in position, and that the whole DMO roster, all the way to 5 players, are ready to dive this tower together with the Akali TP. Because the fact here is Cannon gets to get a full 1.5 wave, while Natural loses 1.5 wave, these creeps, and at the same time, there is no maneuver at all from Varus, Leona, Lee Sin to even consider defending this, because Rek'Sai, of course, has the Rift. So this puts IG in such a big tempo advantage. Massive tempo advantage. 1.5 wave ahead and Rift Herald ahead. So this is massive. Massive. Absolutely massive. Rift Herald gets used, natural disrespecting. Cannon backs up the moment LeBlanc goes in fog. You can see it here. So here, massive tempo swing, big tempo swing. You can see it here clearly. Boom, boom, boom. Tempo swing, Rift Herald goes, Rift Herald goes. 3 turrets, and then Cannon goes for the play on top side. This we don't care about, it doesn't matter too much, doesn't impact the game. Cannon trades 1 for 1, Leona misplays, and he also kills the wave that decreases the tempo. And this is so much gold. IG is getting a massive gold swing, and then later on when they get natural, this is why they can end the game so fast, because they have an open inhib. So here, Natural's move here should be to freeze as long as possible, because IG's issue now is that they need to break mid tower. And the next big objective is going to be the next Rift Herald, because the Rift Herald is going to help DMO set up a situation where they are going to, basically IG needs to break mid tower in order to obtain as much space as possible to find engages with Southwind, because DMO are going to be stronger and split together with LeBlanc's TP. The mistake that happened in preparation for this Herald, well, first and foremost, this is another big mistake of IG, is that they are playing into the wrong side. Here, when you are in a position where you have TP disadvantage, you need to make sure that you play kind of a 4-1 style, where you clear this wave and then you hover into top side, giving Cannon space to push. But instead, they are looking to pressure into bottom side, take the red buff, and they lose a tower, and also Cannon dies. Of course, Cannon doesn't need to die. It's a mistake that doesn't need to be forced. But it's just bad macro here from IG, giving up a little bit too much, and then they try to fight 1 for 1, doesn't matter too much. The big next one here is the Rift Herald, and the mistake from DMO is the fact that Akali is the one going into bottom. So Akali has no TP. Right now in this position we see Akali in bottom. Akali is in bottom. LeBlanc needs to be the one in bottom, because he needs to start chipping away at this turret. He needs to make sure that he gains as much advantage as possible through this TP. But instead, Akali is in bottom side, and this is a big problem. Bad lane assignment from DMO. Very, very bad. Now LeBlanc is going into bottom very, very late. He's here, and honestly there's no purpose in even going bottom, because it's too late already. IG is in position, they're going to take this Herald, and all the damage that Herald does onto the freaking turret in mid lane is enough for Puff to eventually just walk up and do 2 autos to it. So here we're going to see a maneuver from Shie walking into bottom, but IG is already on location. You can even keep your TP here at this point if you want to contest this and just look to chip away at this, but the Rift Herald is too important for IG's composition. IG's composition just needs to make sure that they break mid tower. The moment they broke mid tower, this game is going to be so much easier for them to play, because they can find easier engages. And this is the big issue, and the difference between FPX and also DMO playing this teamfight composition is that they were never able to break the mid tower. And now, well, they committed here a bit too far. You can still see the issue of their composition, that they can't really walk up too far and look to harass, like hit the turret. But eventually, DMO, they are going to base, they're going to recall, MF is going to hit 2-3 autos, and the tower is going to fall. Next thing that happened, the game decider after this was mid tower is gone now. There is a big team fight here. The Shy does a monstrous flash, beautiful, nothing too complicated, no flash from Varus, and then afterwards the game is lost, because the door is open down in the bottom side, as we mentioned before. The bottom is completely open, and IG take a victory with the composition they've dismantled over and over again. 3 games already in this week alone. So I hope this summary makes sense. I'm going to put a timestamp in the video, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to remind you guys, if I reach 25k subscribers on YouTube, then I'm going to do a headset off reveal. Very nice.